What's up, guys? So guess what I did? Walked all the way in here to have lunch, and my wallet's sitting at my desk. So it's not working out too good, so that's alright. Let's just extend my ride. Longer rides are more gooder. But I figured on my ride back, I'll vlog a little bit. And this will be more of a typical style blog where I'll be stuck in traffic and navigating around cars and sitting at stoplights and all the other crap that I hate to watch and I'm going to make you watch. But it's popular, so whatever. So anyway, I wanted to make this, I'm going to make this a separate blog, but it kind of goes along with the last one that I did, mostly because I was talking about my dream bike and I had to mention Harley and I had to make a couple jabs at Harley. All in jest. A lot of my good friends ride Harleys. I've ridden several Harleys. I really like them for a lot of reasons, and I really don't like them for a lot of reasons. Harley Davidson and I, wrong lane. Harley Davidson and I have a love-hate relationship. I don't know if I love them or I hate them. But I know that right now I'm not going to buy one. So I'll tell you why and kind of give you guys my take on the Harley versus metric debate. A lot of times, I think one of my biggest pet peeves is, the Harley versus sport bike debate. A Harley is one brand of cruiser, and they're not even the first. So I'm going to just focus on Harley versus metric cruisers. So for the purposes, we're also going to go ahead and throw, like the Triumph cruisers and things like that in with the metrics. They're technically metric, although metric was kind of originally created to define the Japanese bikes. This, by the way, is something that is ultra annoying. If you can't make it through the intersection, you can't go through the intersection. That's the law. You don't get to just sit in the intersection just because the light's green. You got to wait until there's enough room for your car to get completely through before you go through. Otherwise, light turns red and you're stuck and I can't go, or these guys can't go, or whatever. Anyway, see, people running those yellow lights. So anyway, the reason they're called metrics, in case you didn't know, is that, essentially the Japanese bikes, everything's in metric. Rather than standard or US or whatever your stupid, whatever word it is you're from calls it, they use the metric system that the whole rest of the world uses. But of course, Harley, being American-made, uses the American SAE fasteners. Although some other countries, I think, do use SAE, but for the most part, they all use metric fasteners. That creates one bit of confusion because there's some really, really bad information out there by somebody who either has no idea what they're doing or exactly knows what they're doing and trying to screw everybody's bikes up and telling you that there's even conversion charts out there that tell you that, well, this size standard socket will fit this size metric bolt, and that's just not true. Now, it's true that metric and standard and can interchange in certain ways. For example, 55 miles per hour is exactly identical to 88 kilometers per hour. But here's the problem. Imagine your bike could only do 85. Well, it wouldn't be right to say you're doing 85 kilometers an hour. What do you say you're doing 55 miles an hour because you're only doing like 53? So that's how it works with, with different sockets and things like that. The metric and the standard are close, but they're not close enough. You need to use the right tool for the job. But anyway, that's why they're called metric, because they use metric fasteners. All this stuff throughout here is all metric. So that means you got to buy $50 for the tools for the bike that you save $6,000 on. Seems worth it to me, but maybe not to others. But anyway, so the main differences between the metrics and the Harleys. Well, Harley is American-made. The metrics, some of them are assembled here or built here. Kawasaki has a big plant here in North America, in the United States. But Harley Davidson is an American company. The bikes are built from the ground up here in America with a good chunk of American parts. And I respect that a lot, and I think that's important to a lot of people. And a lot of people buy it just because it's American. They buy it not because, go America, super superiority, although some of them do. A lot of it's just to improve our own economy, to keep the money here in this country. America has a tremendous trade deficit. It's just the kind of country we are. We don't like to produce things. So we like to ship it overseas to produce. So we have a trade deficit. So we ship more money out of the country than comes into the country. So for some people, it's a wise decision looking out for other people to buy American products. Now, I want to address that one right off the bat because that's a common one, and here's the problem I have with that. Basically, what you're saying is you'll buy an inferior vehicle, even if it's slightly inferior, or you'll buy a vehicle that's pretty much the same, but you'll spend more money purely because it's American made. Now, I respect that a lot. I think that is a fantastic thing. But let me tell you why I won't. Because Harley Davidson doesn't do it. Okay, now, you're all ready to flame me here, but hear me out. Harley Davidson didn't build the carburetors on their bikes. They used Kain and Mikuni, same as Japan did, and with Kawasaki and Suzuki and Yamaha. They all use the same Japanese and Chinese carburetors. They go to Japan for electronics. They go to Japan and China for fuel injection systems. They are continually outsourcing part after part after part because they want to make the bike competitive. They want to make it cheaper. And so they figure that they can buy a product that's just as good or almost as good overseas for less money and in turn sell a cheaper bike. So Harley Davidson will buy a product that's just as good or maybe just a little bit worse or maybe just a little bit better overseas for less money. So if Harley can do it, I can feel pretty okay with doing it myself. I'm not going to spend extra money to support a company that is not itself. It tells you it does, and all of its marketing material tells you it does, and its PR department will tell you over and over again that it does, but they don't. They'll buy parts overseas as much as they can, as long as a few crucial components are built here so they can still call it American made. That said, they're fantastic bikes. If I ever considered owning one, it would be because it was a better bike than what I could buy, not because it's American made. Being American made, though, could push me over the edge of a bike the same price. If I really felt like I could look at a Kawasaki and look at a Harley at roughly the same price and I couldn't decide which one was better, I'd pick the Harley because it's American made. But I'm not going to spend more on an inferior bike or a bike that doesn't work for me as well. It's not that the bike's inferior, it's just that it doesn't work for me as well. Man, I hate driving in traffic. I don't know how all you vloggers do this all the time and think it's fun. I don't know. Anyway. So the other difference between Harleys and metrics, Harleys sound way better. I don't care what metrics you have, Harleys sound better. They have that thunder sound. When you hit the start button, they just come to life. Harley has engineered some amazing things, and they sound fantastic. They sound so great mostly because of a few outdated engine designs that they continue to use that the metrics just aren't going to use. Results in less power and less fuel efficiency, but a tremendous sound and lots of bottom-end torque. And that's fantastic. Harleys sound awesome. And I'm not just talking about the guys who make them obnoxiously loud. I'm talking guys with modest pipes or even stock pipes on their Harleys. They sound great. They have that wonderful lumping, lugging sound. And the looks are fantastic. The engines look great. The bikes look great. You got the best dealer support network in the world. I mean, anywhere you go, there's a Harley dealer, somebody who will work on a Harley. Even the metric dealers will work on a Harley. You have a good warranty. You have all sorts of other fringe benefits that come with owning a Harley. So there are a lot of great things about a Harley. I really think that Harley Davidson is one of the best motorcycle companies out there. But, and this is where you're going to ignore everything I just said and flame me, and that's okay. I don't think they build the best bikes. Because when you ride as much as I do, sound, cool factor, and how it looks are a little bit less important than how it rides. The bikes are kind of meant for a more average-sized person, which is understandable. Why wouldn't you? But that means they're kind of cramped. Floorboards sit up high, the bars sit close, the frames are small, the bikes are small. And that doesn't go well with me. It doesn't fit me well. The same thing that makes the engine sound great also makes the engines give off a lot of vibration. Harley's done a lot of different innovations to try and come up with ways to isolate that vibration, but they haven't succeeded yet, I don't think. Lots of guys swear they have, and I've ridden those bikes. I've ridden a CVO Ultra Classic, I've ridden a Road Glide, a Softail, a Road King. I've ridden with the 88-inch engine, the 96-inch engine, the 103, the 106. Or is it 110? Yeah, 110. For the 110th anniversary. I have ridden a lot of different bikes, a lot of different motors. It didn't work for me. I kind of understand why it works for a lot of other people, and I definitely do. A lot of cool things about it, but it didn't work for me. They also lack some of the features that these other bikes have, although with the new Ultra Limited, they're starting to finally come out with some of them, but you know, they're just outdated. They're kind of boring. They look the same. I mean, they look great, but they look the same. You know, they look the same as they always have. Nothing's really changed. So that's kind of why I don't ride a Harley right now. Maybe one day, but I just not a fan. But I am going to close out with this. My least favorite Harley arguments. One, you only don't ride a Harley because you can't afford one. That's not the case for me. I'm not rich, but I could have had a Harley if I wanted one. But I really don't want one. Lots of people with a lot of money don't ride a Harley. So it's not just money. And the metrics are actually getting a lot more expensive. They're not that much cheaper than the Harleys anymore. In fact, sometimes they're more expensive. The Vulcan Voyager that's meant to go up against the Ultra Classic is like $1,000 less than the Ultra Classic. And we're talking about spending $20,000 on a motorcycle, $1,000 a drop is really a drop in the bucket. Nobody is thinking, gee, I wish I had the Harley, but I'm going to buy the Vulcan because it's $1,000 cheaper. Nobody's saying that. They're saying I'd rather have the Vulcan. Unless maybe they're buying it used, and maybe there you can make an argument because, you know, used values are down, but the other argument is that Harley has better resale value. Yeah, it sounds great if you're flipping bikes, but how about people who ride them? I tend to ride it for a long time. Resale value doesn't really matter to me. That, and when it really comes down to it, percentage-wise they do, dollar-wise no. Here's the interesting thing you got to watch for. A Harley Davidson bike that say costs $10,000, well, let's say costs $20,000. Turn around and sell it for $5,000. Sorry, $15,000. I'm totally off here. Turn around and sell it for $13,000 to $15,000. That's not uncommon at all. 4 or 5 years later, you're ready to move on to something else. You got $13,000 to $15,000. Boy, you didn't lose very much at all. 25%, maybe 30%. That sounds great. Well, how about if you buy a metric? You spend $10,000. Turn around and sell it for $5,500. The Harley guy laughs and sneers and says, "Look at that! You lost almost 50%." But do the math. The Harley guy lost a couple grand more than you did. So the resale argument just doesn't work out with the math very often. It does sometimes, but he didn't wave at me because he sensed I was bashing Harleys. Not really, but, you know, wasn't praising them as and worshiping the ground they ride on. So the resale value doesn't really work out. Percentage-wise, yes. Dollar-wise, no. The bikes are generally more expensive. Unless you get up into the territory of the much more expensive bikes that are priced similar to the Harleys, then you can make an argument for resale value. But it's not always the case. And besides, I intend to have it for a long time, well beyond any resale value, so what's the point? But other than that, it becomes an issue of preference, you know. I don't think one's better than the other. I think the metric bikes are great. The reliability is proven. These metric bikes last forever. I think Harleys are great. The reliability is improving over the last few years, and some instances they've had have not been so great, but they're getting better. They look great. They have a lot of great features on them. So, no doubt in my mind that you can't go wrong with a metric or a Harley. Joe Victory in the mix too. Honda with the Gold Wing and different other classifications of bikes, but comes to basic cruisers, Harley and metrics, I think they both make a great product. And you can take that however you want and run with it. Blame me in the comments, ask me questions, whatever. I don't know. I know some of you aren't going to like what I have to say because you're either going to not like that I like both. You're either going to be a Harley guy that's mad that I like metrics or a metric guy that's mad that I like Harleys, or you're just going to be mad that I wasn't praising one or the other and bashing the other. I don't know, but, you know, I think they both make good bikes. So, and I will leave you with this, only because I ride a metric, and that means I have to bash Harleys. Not really, but it's fun. And I love Harley jokes, and all my friends love to hear my Harley jokes. So here's two for you. The two real reasons I don't ride a Harley. Number one is that I don't like to shop at fashion stores, so I'd never be able to get a Harley, because I wouldn't want to go into the fashion store to buy one, you know. Fun fact, I actually think Harley Davidson makes more off of motor clothes than they do off of the actual bikes. Okay, not really, but yeah, no, they do actually, but yeah, so that's the one funny one I always hear is, I don't go to Hollister, I don't go to Aeropostale, I don't go to Abercrombie & Fitch, so why would I go to Harley Davidson? The second one is the same reason I own a boat. I'd love to own a boat. I think a boat would be a lot of fun. But it's the same reason I don't own a boat. That's because I don't have a truck big enough to pull it with. Alright guys, I'll talk to you later. I will see you in the next vlog. Who knows, we'll see what we're going to talk about next. Talk to you guys later. God bless. Bye-bye.